Hey, Cheryl. It's the
Hey,
live show. I'm here, you're here. Dave is flying over our country somewhere. He could be flying over his country if he's taking off from NorCal. I don't know the flight path necessarily, but
mm,
he's somewhere in North America.
right. Far northern, farther north than us. We couldn't even wave to him.
We couldn't even wave if we wanted to. And Cheryl, I'm drinking, it could be my ninth cup of coffee today. I lost count.
You got a new toy.
Oh boy. Let me tell you how excited I am about this fucking coffee maker. Stacy and I drink a lot of coffee, and we've slowly like gone up the chain, right? Like we had a cheap Keurig years and years ago, and then we got a Keurig, a slightly fancier one in the last couple of years. And then I realized we could save an awful lot of money if you actually use the little empty Keurig they give you and put your coffee in there. So we do that. And it's a bit of a mess though. There's a lot of constantly emptying it and refilling it, but it's worth it. You save so much money. It lasts,
Mm,
instead of a box for $20, whatever the fuck they are. So I was talking to my buddy Dario. Dario is always my guy for gadgets and electronics. And I'm like, hey, what do I need to buy? Because he's cheap. So he always knows what to buy that's not too much. Like he's the bargain hunter. Like he'll do the set the price thing like on Amazon. Like, hey, buy it at this much, not at this much. You could you could pay the super expensive one, but that's probably more than you need. So why don't you get this one? So he's my guy. So first, I want to say a quick side note. I interviewed Vivian today. That's going to go up later this week, and
man, you and all the elites lately.
her dad has launched this product called Metal, and it's like an energy drink. And she's like, "Hey, it's without the jitters or the crash of caffeine." And I'm like, "Wait a minute! I enjoy both the jitters and the crash of caffeine. Those are two of my favorite things.
No selling points for you.
I love being jittery, and then I go take a fucking nap. I love my life." Uh, but no, we'll go support that. We're gonna buy a box of that stuff. So uh, we buy this thing, and you can make a latte. You can make a flat white, sort of. You can like my wife has her own profile, make the coffee a little bit stronger. I mean, it's pretty fucking awesome. And uh, she asked me to tell this story on the show, and so I will. We were having kind of a nice moment last night, and I said, honey, so this back porch of our house was like tiny and falling apart and has been since we've been living there. And we're like, we eventually need to get this fixed. So we got it fixed and we widened it. So now we have like a real back porch. It's kind of nice. Not massive, but it's nice. And I said, honey, I'm really glad we like, and she's working now. It's like, so life is like good. Like we're doing better financially than we ever have, basically. And I said, honey, it's really nice having nice things. But, if I didn't have you and the kids, it wouldn't matter. Like if I was single in this house and had this stuff, it just wouldn't mean anything. And then this morning, as I was enjoying my third cup of coffee before 8 o'clock, I said, I think I changed my mind. This is all I need. And I hugged the coffee machine. I was like, this is it. It's all I need to make me happy. So yeah, I'm pretty fucking happy with this thing.
So you're implying that it was actually a bargain as well, or did you spend some money on it?
No. You can again. There's a few $100. There's
Right.
several $100. There's
Yeah.
$1,000, right? And so let's just say the one that he suggested, which is the 3300, and you can buy them used. That's another thing with a lot of times on Amazon. They're like, hey, refurbed, which I've done with Macs 100 times. You don't need to buy a brand new Mac for 1,000. You can get a pretty darn good one for 600 or whatever, right? But I was like, I don't want to do refurbed on this. I just want to go new because you get one for only a couple hundred if you want to go refurb. So the newest 3300, the 4400, which is what we went for, the price was like at its lowest point, and I was like, fuck it, go for it.
Meant to be. Right.
So no, we spent some money on it. I mean, I said to Stacy, I said, I think this cost more than my first car. My first car was $500, but many things I've bought lately are more than my first car. So I don't even know if that's a good marker anymore.
Well,
It
I
also
think
was $1990.
I was just, you're old, so everything's more expensive than your first car. But aside from that, I do think it's nice to get to a point in your life where you can spend money where you will appreciate it, right?
Yeah, and I don't need a lot of things. Like even if let's say let's say my life changed tomorrow. Let's say ESPN said, you know what, we want to, or The Ringer came along, or Barstool, and said, you know what, we want to buy you for millions of dollars. I would then not go out and buy a Maserati. You know what I mean? I would
Right.
then not, you know what I'm saying? So there's things in my life that where I want to focus my money. And these days it's a decent coffee machine, improving our house, and not sitting in coach. Those are the things that are important to me.
Yeah, the first class thing's really nice. Business class.
I don't even do first class, Cheryl. I'm a comfort plus most of the time. I'm happy. Just don't stick me you just don't stick me in coach.
Good. Are you flying to Stockholm in style, or are you stuck in economy?
Well, I almost always do comfort plus anyway. And now I have spent a little bit on myself for the next one up, which is, I think they call it premium. So there's first, which first is just enormous cost. So, but the one behind that is actually, you're treated pretty fairly well. You get the same food as first class, and it's slightly bigger seats, and they treat you kind of nicer. So I do that sometimes when I fly internationally. I've not done the full Delta One lay down. I have yet to make that purchase. So I'm kind of been saving that one.
Yeah, I can't justify that. I just tell myself to suck it up, and I usually just sit in an aisle seat, and so I can move a lot, and then it doesn't tend to bother me. But I'm a smaller person. Like, I think for bigger people, it would be really hard.
Yeah, I'm a regular size person, and the regular seats are fine for a short regular flight. Like if I'm going to go to New York, I could fly coach and it not be the worst, but I finally got enough points from all these trips that I can get the kind of automatic bump to comfort most times, which is nice. But no, I do not buy first class tickets. First class tickets are out of my price range. Those are way too much. Again, I've been waiting on either money or points to go, you know what, this is the trip I finally do the full laydown, but that's a lot. That's a whole nother price bracket.
Yes. Big commitment. So we are currently, hopefully you can't hear, but we're having a giant hole put in our house. So talk about spending money. I am currently hemorrhaging money on home improvement projects. We just got an air conditioner put in our garage so I can use it this summer for my gym.
Nice.
And now I've got an 8-foot by 6-foot window going in my dining room.
Because you want to look at the sphere?
You know what? You talk about your coffee machine. This is going to change my life. Just the way our house is situated, we overlook the city. We can see the city, but the main window by which we can see the city is far too small. And I finally just decided, quality of life, I'm spending the money. And we did. We spent the money, and they are currently pounding out that hole. And I just hope they can fix it. Like, I'm putting my house in the hands of people I've never met. So let's hope it goes well. You just had that studio built. So I don't know. You get a relationship with these people and you trust them.
Yeah. The guy that did our studio did the porch. I mean, and this is the thing, like, as I've said, I think many times in the show, I want to die in this house. So we're just going to keep adding stuff to it before like I said, even if some giant check showed up tomorrow, I don't want to move. I like it here. Like I said, the kids are moving out, so the house will get bigger and we can add more stuff and whatever. But no, I used to say that the first time we bought a Theragun, I said that was the best gift we ever bought ourselves. But the coffee maker has now usurped that as the best gift we've ever bought ourselves.
You're going to be thankful every day for that thing.
Every day. This is my 12th cup. Are you kidding me? Stacy,
I can tell.
Stacy already dialed in her thing. She's like, "Hey, I'm going to make an iced coffee because you select iced coffee," and then she just made a shot on top of that and poured it right in.
Awesome.
And what I'm really going to do is, like, this weekend, I'm going to get like some fun flavors and like make like a vanilla latte. Like Jackson will like that, right? Like, hey, here's it, because like right now we just do oat milk. But anyway, enough of that stuff, Cheryl.
Congratulations.
We forgot to tell the other story, which is that you buy one of these things and they don't really have instructions anymore. They're just pictures, because they figure even a dummy can follow these directions. And, you just pull the tabs off off the things. This thing looks like it's something they just used to ship. This thing looks like, okay, this thing goes there. Like you don't even look at the picture. But then I saw a big hole on the front, and I'm like, that's certainly where beans go. Put the beans down there, turn the machine on. She's like, I don't think they're supposed to be there. And I'm like, it's fine. And I let it go for another 30 seconds. And I'm like, it's not fine. And we are trying to get the beans out and we can't. And like, first I'm just dumping it like this, right? And then I opened it and it looks, those of us that are old enough to remember, it looks much like a copy machine. Like you slide the lever this way, the whole thing comes out. And then we spent, I don't know, 10 minutes like cleaning it out because vacuuming it. And then she got like a little like a thing you wash like water bottles with. And like there were fucking beans everywhere. Beans don't go there. So then I can see it's the thing that covers the hole is plastic and it's got drawings on it, more symbols. But the way the light was hitting it, I couldn't even see it. But now I see there's clearly a symbol that says no coffee. And there's another symbol, which is a scoop with little cubes on it. And I'm like, that's where the ice goes. So I put some ice in there. And Stacy and I were like, of course. And now like, so water will go through there and that'll clean out whatever's left. So that'll be fine.
Yeah.
So we hit start and it makes noise. And she's like, honey, I don't think ice goes there. It's actually coffee that goes there. Pre-ground coffee goes there. The very top is where the actual beans go. You just pour the beans, right? Which we had. Okay. We specifically had bought this box of this, like we'd ordered some Trader Joe's coffee. You just literally pour it on top, which kind of isn't natural. It just looks like the top because the grinding happens over here in the corner.
Okay.
So anyway, that's how dumb we are. That not only the little scoop was a scoop of coffee, but they looked like little cubes to me. I'll take a picture and show you. So as I said to Stacy, they try to make these things idiot proof because they know how dumb people are, right? That's why you're in so much luck when you buy anything these days, a TV, anything, because they're like, just hit this button and then click start and we'll walk you through it, like computers, everything, because they know how dumb people are. Like we talk about the emails HYROX must get on a daily basis, right? So imagine the TV companies, right? So they make it as dumb as they can. So there's idiot proof, and then there's me and my wife because we missed that, again, mostly me, but it was both of us.
Well, it sounds like you were awfully excited, and I am not one to be bothered with instructions. I like to just go by my intuition, and it bites me in the butt every time. So.
Well, yeah, and I learned that a long time ago. I learned that a long time ago that when you're building something, oh yeah, when all else fails, read the directions. But this thing is so like, oh, it's only 6 parts.
Yeah.
Right.
You still managed to.
And by the way, we did ask Chad a couple times, right, about a couple of things. And this one piece we couldn't figure out. And Chad told her like, oh, that's just a piece for shipping. And I'm like, I think it's wrong. Like most people, if you've used Chad enough, you know when to push back. And like, I think that's wrong. And so I said, let me ask it on mine. And mine was like, oh yeah, it goes here. It was just, it's physical only. It's what do you call it? It's cosmetic only. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so you got to be pretty dumb, I think, to get that wrong. But yes, I thought, I'm not too proud to, and I think it's sort of on brand for me. I think people know that about me, that I'm a little goofy. And so, yeah, like here's this nice expensive thing I bought for myself. And look, I almost broke it and I'm vacuuming fucking coffee grounds out.
Just too excited. That's all. That's all right.
So the next thing I want to talk about is something that I messaged you about a while back.
Yes.
And I was trying to think if there's a way for us to talk about it without spoilers. And I don't think there is. So we're going to talk about it. And I don't have a musical cue. You'll just have to keep fast forwarding if you want to not be spoiled by it, I guess. And it's called, I already forgot the title. Where's our link? Where's our
The Truth and Tragedy of Moriah Wilson.
It's so good. The Truth and Tragedy of Moriah Wilson is about what happened to this woman in the biking community, the gravel bike community. And
it's on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix. And out of the jump, I want to say that every fucking documentary now, whether it's sports or true crime or anything, they now think you're so dumb that you won't watch it unless they tell you what happens in the first minute. The first minute is literally the trailer. That's almost every documentary now. And it really pisses me off because once upon a time, you got told a fucking story and you're on the journey. Even if you know how it ends, even if it's a crime thing that's like, I don't know, like, I can't think of an example, but even if everybody kind of knows how it ends, you still don't show that. You go on the fucking journey together. So first of all, that's what I want to tell people is that right off the bat, they don't do that. They don't tell you what happened. They don't tell you who did it. You actually get to watch and follow this thing in real time. So that's a good time to say now, if you don't want to be spoiled, fast forward. Okay. Go ahead and fast forward if you don't want to be spoiled because it's really good. So as this story is going along, it's about people in the, would you call it gravel bike community? What's the word you would use? Because I'm not in that world.
Yeah, I think, I don't think there are a lot of roadside. Yeah, it's mostly just gravel bike. So it's a kind of a niche sport community that has some tremendous elites, kind of these upper echelons. And it's kind of about that bunch more than anything.
Right. But it immediately made me think of like that absolutely could be OCR or Trail or HYROX. Everybody in the story is part of this community. And so the girlfriends and the wives and the people and this sponsor and that sponsor, it's like, that's what I was like, this could totally be. And I think that's one of the things that, like, if you watch something about a high school and you go, oh my God, that could be my kid's school or whatever. So that to me was super appealing. And then it takes some fucking fascinating turns, right?
Right.
Like you were pretty sure it was the boyfriend, right?
Yes, of course. And not even, I guess he wasn't even a boyfriend. Like he was a guy that she liked, but he was kind of stringing her along and people did not have nice things to say about this guy. So it really does kind of, they do a good job of making you think this.
Right. But I'm saying if you're around long enough, you know a red herring too when you see one. So Stacey and I are watching a show, any show, and it's episode 3 and they've got this guy in handcuffs. It's like, well, we're episode 3, so it's not him.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
in this one, it was hard to think that it would literally be anyone else, given that it was such a small group.
But they did such a good job that you literally were like, ooh, maybe. And again, the way he acted, the way he didn't do himself any favors.
No.
And then you might even have some sympathy for him at the end. Did you have sympathy for him at the end?
I had a little bit of sympathy for him at the end.
A lot, a little, medium.
I think I turned to my husband and I just said, look, he's like most dudes I know, you know what I mean? Like he's just having a good time, stringing these girls along. Like you never think it's going to turn out like that. Right. And so I could see a lot of people I knew, especially when I was younger, that were just literally that guy. But you don't think it's going to...
Were you ever suckered by that guy, Cheryl, or did you always know what you were getting into?
I was never good looking enough to be get attention from a guy like that.
Dare you say that, Cheryl?
Yeah.
How dare you?
No, because they do. They like the cute girls, and you know what I mean? Like the guys I hung around were a little deeper than that. And so, and you kind of can see him coming a mile away. Like,
a man can't be deep and handsome?
They can. Oh, and we can get involved in who that is in our community because
I thought we were talking about me and Jake.
Yeah, but like, what did that one guy in the community say? He was like, this is a guy who he'll be standing there with his girlfriend talking to you and never introduce her, right? Like
the joke was who's whatever her name was, who's Julie? Oh, that's his girlfriend that you never introduced you. But I think there's a difference though. There's a level in kind of, let's call it, in my day, we called it player, guy that kind of just dated a bunch of chicks and kind of was never really committed and strung them along or whatever. And then there's, I fucking live with a girl and I still do that. Then that's another level though, Cheryl, of actually there's a chick that lives with you that you're saying is you're on and off again. It's like, no. You fucking live together, dude. And she's managing your business, which is a whole other piece of it.
Well, I think the reason why he was living with her is because she was managing his business. And I think it worked out great for him. right? Like it was a perfect situation
until
for him.
it did not.
Correct. But I don't think he understood the level of her commitment.
Yeah. I mean, clearly, even before she does what she ends up doing, clearly, like, she needed help. Like, because you've got to be, right? Like, that's beyond, like, codependent and being strung along and whatever. Like, you're living with a guy who clearly treats you like shit, and you're managing his money, and he lives in your house, and
she is trying to make it work. It is the most important thing to her in her entire life.
right, is how can I make it work with this guy for whatever reason?
Who's never going to give her what she wants.
Well, right.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, this gal comes along who you could replace again with any young pretty face in our community who's just like, yeah, I started seeing this guy and I think he likes me. Like, she doesn't quite see that he's the player that he is yet, or doesn't want to see it. She might have eventually, but in the early days was like, I'm a new athlete. He's giving me attention. He's a huge star in this sport. Like, you could just see it. And like I said, you could see it in our sport. And that's, to me, what was so interesting. And I don't know what it is to regular people. Clearly other people love it too. But because we live in these niches, we could just see it. You could so easily see it happening.
I also feel like, again, like he must have just kind of been one of these charismatic guys, because she was clearly more interested in him than he was in her. You know what I mean? He just seemed to have that charisma that where women are kind of throwing themselves at him. He can kind of get away with a lot because of it. I think she, there was that one guy that she kind of blew off. She's like, well, turns out I like cycling more than I like you. Like, they were going to get married. And then she just, broke up with him. Like, had no problem with that. And yet she didn't seem to have that same level of lack of commitment with this guy. Like, she really kind of wanted to see things go somewhere with him. So you have to wonder what it was about him. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in a room like that with somebody where they're just more magnetic than others.
I mean, I feel like I've been around a few people. I mean, I'm pretty sure I said it, that I'd never met Tia. And when Tia showed up to our group run, Tia Claire Toomey, 7-time fittest woman in the world, when she showed up to our group run, and I was just like, oh, wow. Like, the minute she come, and because she's not like she's only whatever 5 whatever, so it's not like, sometimes people are physical too, and you're like, whoa, like they're
yeah, but they don't have to be physically.
They don't have to be, but that certainly helps too, right?
Right.
Like a big strapping dude. But no, I've definitely seen. I know I've seen other examples of people I've met. I've been like, oh wow, they have it. They just have it.
Who in our community has it?
Well, I mean, you would say people are drawn to Hunter that way.
Yes.
For better or for worse, people are absolutely drawn to him that way.
You always can see him no matter where he's at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if he's in a big space, you always know where he's at.
Yeah. And I think that that's the thing that you can't teach, as they say. Mm-hmm. He's had that. He's always had that. If you're smart, you learn how to maximize it and get as much attention and sponsors and whatever when you've got the talent to go with it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, is really good at these sports. But there's a reason, whether you like Hunter or not, there's a reason that he was the only true crossover in OCR, and still so far in this, even though this hasn't necessarily done it, but it was him being an OCR star that got him. He was on the cover of Men's Health, or one of those things. He was in Sports Illustrated, listed as an athlete, not on the cover. They took that show Boundless and made it with him. He was on the Stone Cold Austin Steve show. Like, he's that guy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's very few people that have that sort of thing. And this guy, I don't even think he has much charisma as Hunter. I just think he's, in this tiny sport, really good. One of the early, really good people. And so he got to be that guy.
I would be interested to see him in person, because I bet there's more going on there.
Well, but even in the interviews you saw, he was just kind of weird. He was just kind of like aloof, really.
No, I will just say the fact that he's got all these girls following him, I think that there's something to it.
No, there definitely is. And people love a winner. He clearly won. And that sport is like super young. It's younger than I feel like even OCR. I mean, like, it's barely a sport.
Well, and the thing that really struck me as I was watching these people is it did very much feel like how I feel when I'm around the elites in our sport, in as much as they just are a different brand of human, right? Like there's just something about all of them. Even, I mean, Moriah Wilson, just the footage of her, just the sparks coming off her, right? She was just that good at everything. Just, oh, look, I won, you know.
Yeah, kind of like Chris, right? I kind of would say
Very Chris Rogloski energy, very, you know, like, but I thought of Lauren Weeks. I thought of, all those people and stuff. And yeah, this guy didn't seem like some sparkling personality, but there had to have been something about him. Like, I will say, I've never told this story, but one of my first Facebook profile photos, like back 100 years ago, was a picture of me with Bill Clinton standing next to me, and his hand was on my back. Like
lower back,
upper back.
Okay.
Yeah, mid back.
Where do we rank that then?
As ranking in
how a person should stand next to a woman they don't know.
Well, I was at a function where we had turned so that we could have a photo taken, and he put his hand on my back so we could take the photo. It was perfectly legit.
Okay.
But I will say that guy, there's a reason why he is who he is, right?
If he had lowered his hand a little bit, would you have gotten excited? If he had done it on the low back, would you have been like, whoa? I
don't know, maybe. I was pretty flattered. Listen, I had a front row seat, and that guy, I felt like he was talking right to me. Like he's just that guy, right?
Well, you kind of gotta have that to become president. You kind of have
I think so. But I've heard that David Letterman had that. Like that's why, he was that kind of guy. Do you know the only other person that I've ever met who I have felt that energy from? Bracken Crocker.
I think you did tell me this story before, because I remember being surprised about Bracken.
I've never told it like to other people, but yeah, like that guy has that charisma, right? He's just got that charisma.
See, I know him too well. I would not say that about him. I mean, I liked Bracken a lot, but I wouldn't say that he's got that. And I've definitely, because I'm in the position I'm in, I don't get as sort of starstruck like around athletes necessarily. But I definitely do around, like, if I meet actors and stuff, or people that I like, you know what I mean, or musicians. It's like, that's like, I was in that when I got to go to that show a couple of years ago, and there are all these musicians I grew up admiring. I was like, didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. I guess this is different than starstruck though. Cause look, I've been around enough of these people, and some of them just stand out more than others.
Right.
And I just think it was interesting to see the dynamics between this very, very small community.
It's so funny that you're experiencing this way, because it's just like, yeah, I've known a lot of really cocky dudes that women throw themselves at. It's not that big of a deal to me. Like, I feel like, especially like, I mean, here's like a bad place to use it as an example, but like AA meetings, like you'd go to AA meetings, and like, there's really famous people in there, and like people just like can't help themselves. And like, especially a lot of like dudes, or like older dudes, like with time, and like they're talking to all the young chicks. You're not supposed to do that, by the way. You're supposed to let the chicks go talk to their sponsor and leave them alone. But like, you know what I'm saying? So I've seen that, and like his brand of whatever is aloofness instead of being more like Hunter. But I wasn't nearly impressed as that. I just thought, yeah, he's a cocky guy. He's done really well in the sport, and he sleeps around. And sometimes that's what actually attracts the women to this guy. It's like, you know what I mean? He's the catch or whatever. Yeah. Right.
Well, I guess my point is that they're just personalities like that. And it's very clear that he got caught up in something that he had no idea he was going to get caught up in.
He did not know that he picked the wrong one to manage his money in his life.
Right. Correct.
And now he's kind of, he's kind of a pariah, right? Yeah. Like they said, he makes money fixing bikes, and it's like, well, who's bringing them to him? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hard to know if he's making a good living or not, but he's definitely, his life is in a different trajectory than it would have been had he not just been, doing what, like I said, a lot of guys just do. It felt very like it never feels good to watch somebody treat people like that, but it also felt relatively innocent, because usually when you do that, people just think you're a jerk. Terrible things don't happen.
I want to see what's happening with him now. I'm gonna look. Sometimes the And I remember, by the way, when this story happened, I did follow it. I remember because I get all these like endurance newswire stuffs. I remember it breaking, but I still couldn't remember who did it or how it ended. But I'm like,
Right.
oh yeah, it's that. That's why I still wanted to watch it.
Right.
So hang on, let me find.
You gonna look up how he's doing?
And also it's Austin, which is where a lot of athletes are.
Right.
Like HYROX athletes, running athletes. Like I'm sure there's people we know that know those people.
Yeah.
There's some
that's probably
people,
true.
if you're listening to this and you know any of the characters from that movie, please call me.
Well, and I don't know how much you want to talk about the girl that was managing his money and living with him.
Sure, go ahead.
I think she's a flat out psychopath.
Well,
A
of course
flat
she
out,
was.
like, how do you find anybody more psychopath? Yeah, it was pretty awful.
They made a Lifetime version of the movie, which I'm sure is horrible. That came out last year. Let me find him. Hang on a second. What's his name? I can't find his name. Colin Strickland. Early life and career, association, pro cycling. Stopped racing in 2022 and left competitive cycling to pursue a career in restoring automobiles. Yeah, when you go to his career, okay, and he's the biggest star they had, and it shows results. The first result is first in the Red Hook Crit, and that's in 2015. So yeah, this sport's even newer than OCR, like newer than OCR, not quite as old as HYROX.
Wasn't HYROX 2017?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Okay.
so it's between us two. It's a brand new sport. And I'm sure we know some people that know some people in that sport. I bet maybe our favorite Wang doctor, Hayden. Let's ask Hayden. I'm going to text Hayden while we're talking.
Oh yeah.
What would you like to talk about next, by the way?
I don't know. I mean, we had a couple of events this last weekend, and not a lot in HYROX.
Well, there was a very big race in Paris.
That looked spectacular.
19,000 finishers in Paris. So second or third biggest HYROX ever.
That was the most gorgeous venue. It is every time, but they are nailing these perfectly great destinations. You know, it just makes you want to show up.
Yeah. 2 races going on sale this week. And I'm like, am I going to try to register for both of these races? Like, I don't know what to do. I know racing with you. It's like, I love Boston. I have family there. I enjoyed Toronto 2 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like, those are both short East Coast flights. Like, how do I not do every East Coast race is the question.
So Salt Lake.
Or do I do what I've been doing, which is buy it no matter what, and then just sell it on the market and lose my $50 or whatever I lose for the buying it on the thing, on the, what do you call it?
Well,
the flex.
You're wealtly enough to buy a fancy coffee maker.
Clearly, I am wealthy enough. No one has used the word wealthy in me ever. So
so last week was the sign up for Salt Lake City.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
I got approached by somebody who I'm in touch with on Instagram to do pro doubles, and I got to thinking about here's what would happen. I would finish Stockholm, and then 12 weeks later I would have Salt Lake City, right? So I would have to turn right around from competing at World Championships and then start another build to get ready, especially if I'm racing pro with somebody. I want to do a good job for her. I want to try really hard. And I just was so worried about having to train through the summer here. It's not easy. I think for, people in the North, it's, training through the winter, and here the summer makes it really, really tough. And I was just burdening myself with the idea but I have to go because it's Salt Lake City. And I think personally, I need to start giving that up. Like, I need to give up the fact that just because there's a race, I have to race it. And so I ultimately decided I didn't want to make any commitments where I was going to have to put forth a really, really high effort, right? I think I want to save that build till, well, and then when LT showed up this weekend, I was like, I definitely have to do LT in October if I can. Like, I think there are things that are showing up that are making me realize.
October?
I think there's a chance, there's a whiff of a chance. We haven't heard, but I think given that they did April, they did October last year, there's a chance. So I'm going to wait and see if they announce that before I make any more commitments. But I just think there's this scarcity mindset that we're getting with HYROX, that because they sell out so quickly, that we need to jump on it and we need to buy the ticket. And I don't think it's healthy for me to think that way. I need to trust the universe that it's going to be fine, that there's going to be a ticket if I can get one, and I don't have to go to every race.
Yeah, there always is. I want to go because I hadn't even thought of this. I want to see what's available. I was like, oh, did it sell out? Like, I don't remember because I didn't really pay attention. I didn't pay attention in Salt Lake because that's not one I'm going to.
I don't think any of it sold out.
So let's have a screen share. Let's have a quick peek. So this is the InBody. Do you know what InBody is?
Yes, I use InBody.
What is it?
It's a body composition measure.
Like a stick?
No, it's like a thing you stand on and you hold this. They hold these rods and then it tells you how much body fat you have, as opposed to muscle mass and so forth.
Is it a scale?
Yeah, it looks like a scale.
$500. So about the same as my really nice coffee maker. Okay. Not getting one. Okay, so
they have them at good gyms.
Here we go. HYROX Open Men. Friday sold out. Adaptive Open. Charity Open. Regular men open. Adaptive men open. Charity open. So Saturday tickets. Go register. You can get those.
Right.
Okay, let's try the next category. HYROX Friday women sold out. Open women is open. Interesting. Look at all these open categories.
Yeah.
Doubles. Or let's go to pro. Pro, there's less tickets, but less likely to sell out. You can still race pro. If you need one of your 5 races, boom. There you go. Salt Lake City. Pro women also open. Doubles.
We'll see all the Colorado people there.
Doubles men. Friday sold out. Sunday wide open. I think because everybody knows the other ones are coming, though. I think Salt Lake is a newer market, and so that's why. I don't think I think Toronto and Boston will both sell out.
Right. Well, I think East Coast is more dense anyway, so right. I think you're right. But I think I'm hoping this is a good enough showing that Salt Lake continues to be on the calendar, because it would be really nice to have that. Well, and I am going.
You are going to Salt Lake.
Yes. I talked to my son. My son wants to race a HYROX.
Oh, well, then don't even have to. I would go to fucking Timbuktu if Jackson said he wanted to do a HYROX with me. I mean, come on.
And like he's had some health problems the last couple of years. This is going to be his chance to kind of get back on it. We raced a half marathon about 2 years ago and had a really good time. So now we're going to race a HYROX together.
Yeah. I'm really hoping I can get them to do stuff with me as they get older. Because, they did when they were younger, and then they went through, now, like, teenagers don't want to hang out with their parents. But as they get older, and I think I think I can get Jackson to do like a DECA strong with me. Because, like, he's got a few extra pounds these days. So I don't think he can do a lot of running. But I think he could do a strong. We did a workout in the backyard the other day, and it's fascinating to watch. He's complaining the whole time. Like, can I get more water? I'm like, you don't need water, son. He's like, yes, I do. But I'm the same way, right? I'm exactly the same way. So I relate so much.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the kid whether or not they want to go do these things with me. But this one's always up for it. So
for sure. So interesting though. It's so funny, these local sponsors. Sometimes they're big.
It's a pretty ubiquitous measure.
Okay, raise your hand if you're listening to this, if you've heard of InBody.
I think most of us have. It's like a DEXA scan.
Right, but it's not. It's just a scale you get on.
Well, no, it's not just a scale. It measures all sorts of stuff.
A DEXA scan you lay down on the machine.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe it's bigger out there because I have
Okay.
not heard. Oh, by the way, and they didn't announce this. By the way, usually there's an announcement. Such and such
Mhm.
is now the title, right?
Right. Right.
And they didn't do that for this. They made a big deal about HWPO coming back, which again seems so interesting that HWPO is choosing that, right? That's Matt Fraser's company.
Mhm.
And like again, like you can tell he kind of doesn't care personally that much about doing the race, but he just knows that's where the money is.
Yeah.
Like he's done a couple ski erg videos and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe InBody is headquartered near Salt Lake City. There's a big Silicon Slopes that that has a lot of tech stuff. So maybe maybe that's the angle.
All right, so here's all the current named ones. Maybelline just took place in Paris. That's the Maybelline?
I don't know. It makes sense though.
Has to be, right? They must have had like a big like glam session like they did for
Well,
remember
that
the UK
race
big
was
one?
so pretty.
Cigna Healthcare, HYROX Hong Kong, Good Life Ottawa, Good Life is a gym.
Okay.
It was F45 last time. It was Good Life 2 years ago, F45 last time, now it's Good Life again.
Okay.
Biotherm in Barcelona. Air Asia, that's the one where we got the HYROX plane social media video. HYROX Asia Incheon.
Okay.
24/7 Fitness in Shanghai. Creapure, HYROX Lyon. Gillette Labs, HYROX Berlin. What does Gillette Labs do? The people that make the razors? Gillette Labs. The fuck is Gillette Labs? Gillette Labs men's razor with exfoliating bar. Yeah, that's just the proper name of the company now? Is
Wow.
Gillette Labs?
It's interesting they would decide to sponsor this.
Interesting. NYU Langone Health in New York for 2 weeks. Lead Gym in Riga.
Okay.
Virgin Active in Johannesburg. Puma, of course, for the world champs. Air Asia HYROX Jakarta. I mean, there's a lot of. Are we out of these yet? Masters Union HYROX Delhi. You think that's a bank?
It sounds like it. Well, it's working. It's making us look these things up.
Ooh, this is new. HYROX DC is Amazfit. This wasn't even announced. This is a big deal. Our friends at Amazfit, September 3rd through 7th.
That Stride that you use, is that an Amazfit product?
No, they were at the Stride, they were at the Amazfit booth. They work with every brand. Like the first thing you do, you tell it what to connect to, every single brand.
Okay.
So they partnered with that race, and maybe they might partner at other races. I mean, I just can't stop scrolling. There's so many fucking events. I don't know if you heard. Did you hear my HYROX should sell now? They're worth $1 billion.
So what was the response to that?
One person in the company reached out to me within minutes and made a joke like, "You really think our profit margins are that high?" To which I said, "I'm going based on your numbers."
Right.
And this person said, "Well, like there was I guess it was an article. Basically, it was like 2021 information. I don't think their margins are that high." But the whole reason I made that is I started thinking about it because I was like, we always talk about like, where's the top? And Vivian, actually, I touched on this a little bit. If they sold right now, right after the world champs, they announced we're out. We've sold to whoever. Could it be too soon? By a couple of years? Maybe. But better than being too late, Cheryl.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I thought. And I thought, what is the valuation, right? That's the thing people always talk about. What is it worth today? And it's like, well, you take current numbers and you multiply that by 5, maybe up to 10, depending how big you think you can get, right? That's even for like a small company. Like if you have a lawn mowing service, they call it, 3x, right? Like what it would make in the next 3 years is probably what you could sell it for, right? So for this, for an event, they said 5 to 10, right? So you take what they're doing now in ticket sales, and again, using chat, using the internet, guessing, tomating on, I have actual finished numbers, so we know that number, and then guesstimating how much they get from a Red Bull, from an Amazfit, right? And it's like, yeah, you could get there. It's not it's somewhere between 500 and $1 billion. I can tell you that. It's not 100 million. It's not small. It's a big fucking number. It's a you don't have to work again and your kids don't have to work again number.
Yeah.
So, what Dave said was like, oh, that's what I predicted. I predicted it was going to peak. And I'm like, no. I'm not saying we're peaking at the end of this year. I'm saying now is the time to sell because you're getting closer to the peak.
Right.
But what were your thoughts when you saw that?
I thought the numbers were quite incredible. And yet when you scroll through that, what you just did, where to find tickets, like it's unbelievable what they're doing, because these aren't even events that are hosting 800 people, like these are tens of thousands of people at each event.
Right. Once in a while, you get a new city. This past weekend was whatever, that was 3,600. And it'll be 72 next season, though. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah. I will say, I don't know.
By the way, that's not like merch, right?
Right.
I didn't even figure. I don't think
affiliate programs.
I didn't even include that. I didn't even include affiliates. Or I'm gonna have to make a new video because I was also off big time on the Tough Mudder number. I realized later, Tough Mudder was never valued at that much. But the point is, they missed their fucking window. Tough Mudder missed the window. CrossFit is certainly missed theirs, right?
Yeah. Well, so it'll be interesting.
Spartan certainly missed its, right?
Right. I don't know much about business, or I don't know anything about business. But I kind of approach this sort of psychologically, like kind of what I see in the community and what I see. And certainly the algorithm doesn't help because it makes it look more popular than what it is for my world. But my suspicion is, we were talking about world records, last week, the week before?
The last 10 weeks, I think.
Right, exactly, right? From London till now, constant world records. And there's a point where no one's running a 40-minute HYROX, right? Like there's going to be a point where they're going to need to stop with the world record talk because it's just not going to happen anymore. And that frustration of coming up against a ceiling that's hardly ever going to be broken again, right? Like that's going to happen sooner rather than later, especially if they start standardizing the courses for elites. But I anticipate that as frustrating as that might be for, say, the HYROX announcers announcing these majors to not have that storyline, I anticipate that as hard as this race is, and as hard as it is to train for, because it is a very, very hard race, right? We're already seeing people in the community who have been doing it for several years talking about mental health issues, talking about, chronic injuries, chronic fatigue, that sort. I mean, this is wearing us out the way we're doing this. And those 19,000 people in Paris this last weekend, you can't tell me that at least 10,000 of them are going to finally decide, all right, I did that. I'm never getting any faster. It's really expensive. I'm going to go do something else. And I think that we could reduce our numbers rapidly in the next few years once people have kind of gone through the process and have decided, it's fine. There are other things I'm going to look to do. So I do anticipate within the next 2-3 years, a drop in numbers that makes it a little more sustainable. And I don't think it will continue to grow as exponentially as it has grown.
Yeah. So it was about, I think it was 2 years ago. Dave said 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And that's what pretty much anybody, all the negative Nancy CrossFit people have said since day one, like, oh, it's a fad and it'll be over. And it's like, yes, everything comes in cycles. But even OCR had a resurgence after COVID. And every day, pretty much, at least every week on my ORM Instagram feed, people would be saying like, Spartan killed it, it's dead, because the sports side was dead. But meanwhile, I'm watching the numbers go up. The open numbers were going back up. Again, would they ever hit 2015 peak? Probably not. But they were still going from year after COVID, 5,000, next year 6, next year 7. Like they were going back up. And now they're dipping because either people are moving to HYROX, people have had issues with the product, like 100 different reasons, but they're finally going back down. So the point is that like whenever people in 2016 were saying OCR is dead, I distinctly remember I got asked to be quoted for an article. It was either Wall Street Journal or Runner's World, one of those, where they were all saying like, well, OCR is over. And I was like, no, it's not. So it's like people will say HYROX is dead for a long, 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 long time until it finally is. And because of the reasons I've talked about week after week after week about where fitness is, it's why it's not. It's fitness is really cool. And right now the coolest thing, quote unquote, is HYROX because they haven't gone cheap on the product, right? If they start doing that, it's a different story. If it's, you don't get these amazing photos and you go across the finish line and it's a whimper, not a DJ, you know, which we can't see them doing. That's how you drop the numbers. And that's some of the stuff that, you know, Spartan has done in their cost saving move, right? Is people go, oh, this product isn't the same as it was. Like my friend just did Tough Mudder in Georgia. He said, Matt, they didn't have Arctic Enema. And that affects people, right?
Yes. Like you want the greatest hits.
Exactly. So I think we're nowhere close to leveling off. I mean, you literally can't do that rocket ship. You can't do the L shape, whatever it's called, forever. But fitness is happening right now, man. Being fit is so fucking cool. And it's where all the money and where all the eyeballs, there's a reason it's what's filled in your Instagram. It's a reason, you know, I'm good at my job, but it's being fed to people. If you like fitness, I'm being fed to you, right? I'm eventually going to get in front of you, probably, if I do a half decent job. So I think, again, if we had a crystal ball, we'd all be gazillionaires. But boy, is it worth an awful lot right now. And I don't know what their plans are. And maybe it's 2 years. Maybe it's what some people said in the comments, like, well, he really wants it in the Olympics. You know, Christian and Mo specifically really wants it in the Olympics.
They may try that first.
But is that worth like generational wealth? I'm being serious. That's the question.
Yeah. Well, and let me just, I was talking to an elite who comes from the OCR world, who was very, very good in the OCR world and still dabbles in OCRs. And this person said, the difference between OCR and HYROX is that OCR is fun. There's problems to solve. It's different every time. You know what I mean? Like there's different things. And they sort of like that. And they said, HYROX is just work. It's just hard work from the start to the end. And I do think that's going to wear on people quicker than going out with your friends.
I think a solo race is. I think a doubles race is all the things OCR is.
I would agree with that. And I think that's why I'm heading more towards doubles these days anyway.
And that's
right?
who does, and that's who mostly does it.
Yeah.
If I haven't said so on here, HYROX bragged about a 50-50 split. And that's because doubles is 60-40 women and relays is 75-25 women.
Right.
So the regular is like 60-35 men, right? Like the men's pro and the men's open way outlast. But whether they meant to or not, like, oh, we solved something like with this doubles thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We get to look cute, right?
And not have to work as hard, right?
Not work as hard. We get to matchy. And again, this is the secret. This is the secret sauce. What is more valuable than looking cute on Instagram, doing a cool thing with your friends and sweating and meeting people? I mean, I just talked to my friend Chris about it. I'm like, young single people, it's got to be the coolest fucking thing to do. It certainly beats just going to a run club. I love running. But like, you know what? You meet at the thing, you meet at the coffee shop, you run 4 miles, you come back, right?
Right.
This is way cooler. You don't get cool pictures.
Yeah. I don't know how much longer my sled pull picture is going to pull in the views. Right?
But what if Deadly or somebody else has a cool indoor race that you get to push yourself in and that you get to do as frequently?
Look, I am always looking for the next race.
Right.
Right. So I'm not, I think
you would have tried
is here to stay.
You would have tried the thing that I just did if it was anywhere near you, right?
Correct.
You would have done Flat Out. You would have done any of these I've gone to, right?
Yeah. You've never asked me to go.
And there are Cheryl. who
you have.
Who got the invite to go to LT games?
We'll talk about that in a minute, but yes, no.
And then there was something else I asked you to go to, and you were like, "That's too far." I forget what it was. I was like,
"Oh, it's the one in Egypt." in December.
Which I ended up
You
not
wanted me to
going
go
to.
to Egypt in December.
Which I ended up not going to. So I'm glad you said no to that one.
Yeah.
So that's what I keep waiting on. Where are you? Where
Right.
are you, billionaires, ready to launch another fitness? Because it ain't going to be fucking Xenom. I'm sorry.
You're right.
Maybe
somebody's going to find it.
A percentage of CrossFit population will do Xenom. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be that much of a hater, but you ain't going to do what HYROX is doing. You ain't going to come close.
No, because it's too high skill. Too high skill. It's got to be lower skill. Yeah.
I mean,
look, yeah, HYROX is always going to be, look, if they sell it and then then those people try to cut costs by taking away how pretty and awesome it is,
that
then
could happen. That could totally happen.
Super disappointing.
Many a merger or sale has that cost many businesses over time. That is a possibility. Right. These two aren't going to do that. Mo and Christian, and I just kept saying their names. I know there's a lot more people behind the scenes, but they're not going to do that. They might find other ways to cut costs, but it ain't going to be on the product side. No, it's such a quality product, right? So I think we'll very much enjoy that. And look, it'll be great for a good long time. I just anticipate a lot of the people who are trying it are going to quit trying it. You know, they're going to be like, oh, I've done that a couple times. You know, it's not worth $500 for us to go run again. And or do they do what I said they're going to do is like, hey guys, this weekend it's a HYROX. You mean come bring your friends who's never done one, or Wednesday, Thursday is HYROX, Friday, Saturday is the full. Like, again, maybe that's the move when the numbers dip. Maybe they go, you know what, forget it. We'd rather just not do it if that's the case. But that seems to me that would be the move. You'd get all the regular people to do that now. Yes. they would do it. Well, I mean, that's essentially doubles, you know. I mean, kind of half, a little bit. If they get rid of all the running, which then kind of doesn't make it a HYROX, I get it. But yeah, I think I'm really glad I did that because it just brought it into focus. And again, it brought it into focus because once I did the math, but again, I didn't even include the merch and the affiliates, which is a whole other fucking thing. So I think, I mean, I don't know where they're investing it. They've wisely keep investing it into more and more infrastructure. So they've been smart with it. And again, but that's what makes it even more an attractive product to a buyer. They're like, wait, you've already done a lot of the hard work. We're not buying this thing in now we have to build it. Right. Yeah. It's a turnkey property. It's going to be great. So we'll see what they do. Yes. We love it. We still love it. What was next on the list? Do you want to talk about what you were upset about an hour ago? Are you still upset about it? I texted you guys. I was listening to Race Brain, and Rod Debo was on there. They were talking about the Warsaw doubles races. They had saved that for a week because they talked about the singles races, and then they talked about the Warsaw Major. And I mean, we could bring up the transcript, but we don't need to. I have since calmed down. Okay. But basically, what they were saying was that the reason why the Brits got the 2-minute penalty for leaving the gel pack on the floor, and I know you're going to say basically, literally, they said it's because the community was mad about littering. Yes. It's our fault. They're not going to Worlds. They're not going to Worlds because we were mad about littering and we were demanding that littering be penalized. That's what they think the problem is. And what I have since decided after like yelling at you guys about this, and I can't believe they said that, is I can't have a conversation with somebody who believes that that's what I think. Do they really think that's the issue? I'm so happy, Cheryl. I just feel like, welcome. The water's warm. Welcome to my side of the world, right? Where people take things you say and get it completely wrong and then argue with you about it. Look, I feel like we are, in essence, I mean, we have our own opinions, obviously, and we talk about what we want to, but we're also somewhat conduits of the community. In many ways. Like we're hearing from people. And so we've been thanked multiple times for being a voice of the community. Right. I mean, they tell us things and we're like, yeah, you're right. We're going to bring this up. And we bring these things up. And there is not a single person who is upset about littering
in HYROX. That's not the problem. It's just not. And if HYROX decided to punish us as a community by penalizing those women, then I don't even know what kind of dysfunctional relationship that is, right? Like, Matt, can you give us in maybe one word or two what the issue is if it's not littering?
Transparency.
I would also say consistency.
Those two. Well, you only gave me one word, but those are the two.
Yeah.
Transparency, consistency,
so,
clarity. I would walk into and say,
Yeah.
please give us those three things. Your problems are now solved. Most of your problems are now
Correct.
solved. But I think it goes to this is what I'm not saying they should have believed it, but if this is what Matlock said in the meeting and even joked about, air quotes, right? Like, because that's
Right.
the level that,
Sounds like it was maybe a joke.
no, I'm saying like it's a patronizing thing. We don't want to get yelled at, so we changed the rule. It's like, no. We just want you to be clear about what that is. Like you're patronizing us by making the joke, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the part that's like, so they're following that lead. I'm not excusing that's why they said it, but if they think like, because that's what, guys, we have to do this so we don't get yelled at by the community who's mad about littering. It's like, no, nobody is. So yeah, listen, clear. You don't need a lot to start a podcast, Cheryl. You just gotta. It's free to start. You pay $10 to Libsyn, and you're off. So everybody's entitled to their opinion. What are you gonna do?
Yes, they are. And I think I just caught you on a day when you had your, I don't know, 9th cup of coffee by then. You were in a great mood. You were like, I'm not worried about it. Dave had a couple things to say. He mentioned something about how I'm not, we're talking about an elite rule book, but I don't even know if we need an elite rule book. We just need a rule book that is followed, right? Like that's all he's asking for. So yeah. Anyway, I'm better. I'm better than I was.
Isn't that great?
I was ready to like.
I know, but isn't that great? That's the thing. I've been there many, many times. I have called you after this very show many times, and then the next day been like, "Why was I so mad, Cheryl?" I think the last time specifically, I said, "If I'm talking to you after the meeting, remind me that it's late and we just did the fucking call, and maybe I should sleep on it." Like that should be
we just need to sleep.
Should be the default. Yeah. So if we hang up the call and I start yelling at you about something, just remind me, "Hey Matt, it's 8 p.m. Eastern." And let's let it sleep for the night. So I totally relate. But yeah, I was like, whatever, let him think that. Whatever, dude.
Deep breath.
But there are certain days where I have sent so many angry texts that I've later had to fucking apologize for. Oh my God. I mean, some I'm flat out embarrassed, like flat out literally embarrassed about as a person. And some it's just, okay, I shouldn't have said that. And me and the person can joke and get right back. Sometimes it's like, this person now thinks I'm an asshole for life. So I've been there many times.
Deep breaths are good. Little distance is good. And I have to remind myself, this is just sports. Like we're just talking about sports. This is not life or death. We would prefer things to be a certain way. It was just interesting. I felt misunderstood. I felt like the community was misunderstood. So anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say.
Okay. DECA this past weekend.
Yes.
I was not there. Neither were you.
Neither was
Dave
I.
Is.
Dave
if we
was
go
there.
live right now, Dave can see us. Dave said we should go live. I'm not going live.
Okay.
More trouble than it's worth.
He was there. I think it was a very good thing he was there. People had good things to say about the judging. They felt like there were plenty of judges. There was a couple comments about, they felt like some of the judges weren't well trained. And I think that happens in DECA. They would come running into a station and have to start counting. The judge wouldn't start counting for them. That sort of thing, gets a little crazy out there. And so I think there are always those complaints, but honestly, like I was actually pretty impressed with what people said. Like they were very, very pleased with how the event went. They thought it was well run, and that they feel like things are getting better, that DECA's putting some effort in and it's paying off. I do think, what was the name of that group that they have come volunteer, the Jericho Road or something like that? The Jericho Project, I think it is. Anyway, I think they really help. Like, I think they know what they're doing there. And if every city could kind of get that group like that, right? Like, I don't know why they don't use their gym affiliates to get more volunteers or whatever, but this group is really good, and I think it makes for a much more quality experience. I also think NorCal is not as well attended, say, as Anaheim, and so that can help when you don't have the higher numbers. So there weren't the wait times that there were in Anaheim, apparently.
Yeah.
But people hate the machines. That's always going to be the case. I think Rob Porter, he and I have been talking back and forth because he was strategizing with the new machines. He was trying to strategize his relay. And I told him the bikes were super fast in Anaheim, and they did not change that. His bike for his relay was 42 seconds.
Do we want that or we don't want that?
We don't want that.
Don't we like fast sleds and good fast machines? No?
Look, I think the thing that defines DECA is the bike. And I think you want to have something. Whenever we talk about HYROX, it's usually the sleds, right? We're just terrified of the sleds and how are the sleds moving? And, that's such a game changer. And obviously wall balls are horrible as well, but that's at the end. But for DECA, it's the bike. Like, you want to have something that everybody's kind of talking about, right? And so, he just said the bike's just not an issue anymore, and that's unfortunate. He had done a bunch of research. He thought they were going to be Lycan bikes, but they're not. They're those Stride bikes. And so,
wait a minute.
Therefore, he wasn't prepared.
Isn't that the new sponsor? Is Lycan?
No, but I think the bikes are different. They're a different company. Anyway, we looked this up, and you looked it up before. We know this. But Samantha Faddis said, nobody likes the machines, but we're creatures of habit. So, of course, we're not going to like the machines. And we should just, not worry about it and get to it. She did admit they're easier. Some people don't think the ski erg is tough. One person talked about how they weren't even starting right. Like, they're glitchy, so people have an issue with that.
Somebody said to me, so I shared, they've improved the start and finish. They did put a little money into that, which is like, that's the first investment made into any DECA, Spartan, or Tough Mudder project in years. Mm-hmm. We're thrilled. But somebody wrote me and said they liked the new start, but it's only 6 people and it looks a little sad.
Yes, because they're starting 6 people every 2 minutes.
Because they don't have enough judges.
That's how they're mitigating the judges. And this whole race seems to just orbit the judge situation. And if they could fix the judge situation, it would be so much better. Because when they had 20 judges ready to go in a station, then you could release 20 people at a time, 15. And it would just.
So in case somebody gets sick or has to move or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I've talked to Dave about, is there a point where they could just change the format? Because there are so many judges things you could
to use, like the lines, like we used it at the event I just did.
For the reverse lunges, pick up that ram and lunge it for a distance like you do in HYROX. You need fewer judges, right? Like the farmer carry doesn't need a lot of judges. The row, the ski, the bike don't need a lot of, like, you could reduce the number of stations that you needed so many judges at, where there's not one person counting reps. That would help a lot. And I just think, I think to make the race seem fuller, more athletic, bigger, they're going to need to.
Why don't we just do DECA Fire and just self-count the reps? I saw a post for a DECA Fire and I was like,
now anyway.
I know I've heard this term before, but what is it? Like, somebody posted about it. Do you know what DECA Fire is?
Yeah, it's like a little self-workout that you can do in your own gym. I was going to do it for one of my classes back when I was teaching. Yeah.
But not anymore, because you told that place to get fucked.
Basically. I'm so sad I'm not there, but I'm really glad I'm not there.
I was going to say, you were so happy. When you left, you were like, I'm so happy I'm not there anymore.
It was good. It was good for me to go, but I'm Matt, I am lost. Like, that in between when you're kind of not sure what you're doing with your life, like that's totally me right now.
Time, but yes, I do know.
Well, you have grand purpose.
Right now I do.
Yes,
drink a lot of coffee.
You're in such a good mood today. It's so hilarious.
Cheryl, I was closing my other windows and looking for something for us to talk about. I was opening the page again, and I realized I wasn't even done I wasn't even close to done scrolling. So I just quickly copied and pasted the HYROX page and quickly threw it in the chat. I said, just number these for me. What's left between now and December 31st? 87 races. It's April. Okay. It's 4 months of the year have gone, and there are 87 races. And I maybe we are at peak. Maybe I take back everything I said. Maybe we are at peak. HYROX.
Unbelievable. And honestly, I mean, think about that. And then like the random complaints that we get, like on the HYROX Facebook page, or, you know, people putting out in the community, the handful of judging issues, the handful of administrative issues coming out of tens of thousands of people racing. Like, they really are running a pretty tight ship. They're doing a great job. Meanwhile, DECA did not have flags or medals this weekend for a lot of people. Like there are still problems with, you know, they're working on some areas, and then other areas they're just still falling through. And that was the other frustration for people.
Yeah. There are more races in Asia than America. Can you believe that?
Well, Asia's enormous.
I know, but they were like the smaller growing one. And I even said break it down by East-West, and there's 11 in East Asia. There's 44 in Europe, if you include Young Stars Paris. We do have 14. 13 if you 14 if you include Young Stars. I mean, listen, it's about to get crazy when we hit. So New York happens, boom, we're done for the summer. Then September to December, it really is almost every week. It's 14 races in like 18 weeks. So if you want to race, the fact that like if you live in the Northeast and you could do Toronto, Boston, that's like what people in Europe get to do. I'm flying an hour this weekend. I'm flying an hour and a half next weekend, or whatever it is. Or driving, a couple times.
Yeah. They are definitely changing the world's qualifications.
Oh, I mean,
next year.
I mean,
right?
Come on.
Yeah. Our ability to qualify for worlds has reduced greatly.
Well, the only shot in the world you have is to get older. And luckily you and I are on the way. So we're in good shape.
When all your friends are dead.
Seriously, imagine you're Matt Kemp, my buddy, right? How's he going to qualify?
Right.
And he's a really good athlete, and he's gotten better, but it's like not going to fucking happen.
Because everybody's good.
Anthony did say, because I brought this up, Anthony did say that they don't count if Lauren Weeks wins the race. She doesn't count in age group because she's already counted in elite, according to Anthony. She doesn't count in we only offer it to the person who qualified and one drop down. So we're assuming that he knows and that they mean it. So that does help a little, because we were saying like, oh my God, you're never going to get a spot if these pros keep showing
right? Because all these elites.
up.
I'll be interested to see what they've come up with for next year, because it's going to have to be something. You can't have that many races and have the winner of every single one of those age groups be able to go.
Well, and
to worlds. There's not enough capacity.
And this is the kind of thing where the complaints will come in, and this will be where like we'll have to push back to the entitled folks and say, I'm sorry. That's what do you want them to do? They literally cannot let everybody in. So you're not going to be able to go. It's not going to be as easy as it was in the first 5 years.
Right. And I think we can talk about back in the day.
Yeah, listen, remember back in the day, even a couple years ago, like Lauren and Mark joked when I talked to them, Rentala and Mark, that like we were the world champs. Like there's no way we could be the world champs now in our age group. Like there's not a chance.
Right.
So it's what happens. Right. Sport moves forward. But again, if you're older,
find other ways to find your joy.
If you're older like us, it's not as hard, not nearly as hard.
A little bit of a chance. We'll see.
What else do we have in the old notes?
We want to talk about LT,
we
don't we?
We want to talk about LT. So
did you watch it?
I watched a little bit during the day, and then I kind of second screened it for a while. Like I was doing some stuff and watching it, and then I definitely tuned in for the pro heats and was excited to root on our friends. I was like, "Hey, Stacy, watch this with me." And then we talked about the different movements. Stacy's super fit, and I'm like, how do you think you do with that? How do you think you do with this? She's like me. She's not huge in the overhead stuff, but she would probably beat me in almost everything else. I mean, the non-machine stuff. Like I think she could probably go over box quicker than me. She's much more flexible than I am.
It is, just watching those people do that race. And so
No
we
world
had a
record set,
lot of
Cheryl.
people.
Not a world record was
I
set.
know. How about
I
that?
don't know.
I
Must be doing
know.
something wrong.
And they yet had things to talk about that they didn't have to rely on the world record stuff. I thought that friend of yours, Zach, how do you say his last name?
I realized last week I said it wrong. Or on my podcast, I said it wrong. I don't know if it's Saigan or Sigan. Like I realized, I just know him as Zach, and I'm going to ask him right now because I'm embarrassed.
He needs to tell us, because honestly, he turned out the most consistently excellent performance. Like he's almost kind of built for that race. It was really, really fun watching him. I actually probably enjoyed watching him more than any of the other elites out there, because he just was a machine out there. So yeah, I've become kind of a fan.
Yeah, I met him at Frontline OCR and was like, this guy's really fit. And then I started seeing him at HYROX, and I'm like, oh wow.
He does everything.
Well, just the fact that he does so well. I mean, clearly the smallest guy out there, like a lot.
Right. But his body geometry, I felt like really lent itself to this event, right? When you've got the overhead and you've got the hinges and you've got all that sort of stuff. I think it really worked well for him, and he handled the boxes no problem. I sat there with my husband. I watched most of the day. I had a lot of friends there, and all we did was try to solve the problem of how we could get that event done. And that's all it is. It's just math, right? You're just figuring out how to get these things done within 6 minutes. It is unique that way. Everybody who I know who went, I reached out to them, asked them how they liked it, and they were completely blown away with how they were treated. And this because we were there the last time. We were talking about what a quality experience HYROX always is, and how people love DECA and they root for DECA, and they really hope that DECA gets the flags in within 7 months, like they told them they're going to get it. Like there's just always kind of a, we're rooting for you to make it. But LT is the boutique experience.
I mean, if you want to be handed a super sweet swag bag and, basically get an entire live stream dedicated to you, and I mean, that's the way to do it.
Unbelievably perfection, like just the way they handle it all.
Did you see this year's patches, by the way?
Did they have patches?
Well, he was supposed to share them with me. He was supposed to share this with me. I'm just now realizing I'm going to text him, because he sent it to me before the weekend. It said, don't share. And I said, okay, send me an actual one from the event and I'll share. And I just realized now he never did. So I'm going to text him right now so I can show you what they look like. Did you see the medals they were showing? They showed the medals like...
I saw the medals that the elites, that the winners
Yeah, they were showing it like, it was like coming up next, the award ceremony, and it showed like, that's what they look like.
Okay. Because the winners got medals, and they also got those plates, those torque plates, which looked kind of fun. Sort of lightweight plates. There were a couple of criticisms by my friends about the event. And one of them was that there is no recognition unless you're an overall winner. It is a small enough event that they recognize that's kind of a tough thing to
give everybody an age group award.
Yeah, but I mean, you could give like the first person in their age group or some sort of recognition. It doesn't have to be a lot, just something. Because I had one person reach out to me a few weeks ago and was like, I'm not even sure I'm going. She said, this is a lot of money. I've signed up. Yeah, look at that. That's fun.
So that's
right?
the medal, but that's also the patch.
Okay. Gotcha.
How would you describe it to the people who aren't watching on YouTube?
It is a weight plate. And I don't know if you saw, but at the LT Games, all of their weight plates looked like that. It had LT Games, branding on them. All of their plates were branded. And so now they've just turned that into finishers.
You're underselling the details a little bit, though.
Okay. What do you like about it, Matt?
So it says LT Games. It has the year. It has a little diagram of the city skyline. It's really...
I'm assuming that's Minneapolis.
Maybe it's Seattle. They're just like, hey, what city are you from? No, it's yes, we're guessing that's Minneapolis. It's very cool. And yeah, he's like, don't share this. I'm like, okay, I won't. And then I said, but send me ones because that's a picture. I said, send me an actual one so I can share it on the day. And I realized he didn't send it.
Yeah, he's a little busy. But people are asking for just some sort of recognition because she was like, I don't even know if I'm going to go because
you get a bag full of cool free stuff.
Yes.
I think they're excused. If you didn't get any,
here's what she said. I'm just telling you what she said. She said, I'm traveling to Minneapolis for a workout.
Well, what are any of us fucking doing?
Right. But I think, finisher medal aside, this person was definitely competitive and probably did very well in her age group. And you're kind of used to at least trying to compete for something. I think it felt a little bit less like a competition knowing that Lauren Weeks was going to come beat everybody. Right. So there's just to have a little bit of recognition. And I don't really know how they build that in, but that was just something that every single person said that I talked to. The other thing that we talked about, which I thought was kind of interesting, was the finisher area. Where do people finish when they do this race? They get off that assault runner.
And then you're literally done basically the second you get off. There's a tiny little line, and then they would go lay down kind of in the start area, I guess, on the floor.
You lay down basically where a bunch of cords and lights are.
What's her name almost like knocked over the light? I did notice that. Somebody went to puke, I think, and almost knocked over a light. That wasn't ideal.
Right. And I just think for as cute as their start tunnel is, that's not actually where you start. You get escorted to the other end of the course.
That whole area and just make it a recovery area.
I think a nice, look, what do we love in the HYROX, that finishers platform? Like, that's really nice. I mean, you don't necessarily need a ramp, but you just kind of need something where people can kind of sit and they can hug each other and talk and, that kind of thing. And there's really nothing there for them to do that. And I think maybe somebody got that start tunnel and was like, oh, this is so cool. And it is, but it doesn't necessarily fit the event. And I think they could actually utilize that space to have like a better finisher area. So there's that.
I agree. I'm trying to get him to send me a photo, and he just sent me the really nice photo that I already showed you. And I'm like, I don't want that. That's supposed to be here.
That's all right. He's trying.
Typing. No, I understand.
But you think about that, like, that's it. Like everybody else, everything else, there were a few communication things and, that sort of stuff. Maybe they could send out the rule book, email a few points and so forth. But for the most part, those were the only two real bullet points that people were talking about. It is the event that I have not been so sad that I was not there in a long time. Like it really bugged me that I wasn't there. Really bugged me.
Well, then they did their job.
Nice. Yes. They know what they're doing.
Unfortunately, it's never going to be all over the country, though.
Yeah, I don't know what their plans are. I would love to have Wes on again to see what the long-term vision is. I mean, I kind of got the impression that this was just them kind of perfecting things. I think the 20-minute start worked better for them, starting every 20 minutes instead of every 15. There didn't seem to be as many issues that way, but I do wonder what else they feel like they need to perfect. And then I wonder what they're going to do with this.
Yeah, I don't understand either.
We need to ask him.
I mean, I don't think they have an answer. I don't think he knows. I think it's above his pay grade, as the kids say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he deserves an answer at this point. Right. Yeah. I think he and Connor deserve an answer. They have put a lot of work into this. It is, I feel, a flawless test. I just think it's so hard. And there were people that I know who are so fit, who still time capped. It is not easy. There are people saying, I have unfinished business. I currently have unfinished business with that event.
What's your unfinished business?
I time capped on the shoulder to overhead.
Oh, see, I forgot. It's been so long.
That bugs me. It has. I want to fix that.
Sorry, I'm showing him what would be better. Sorry.
We need to give him a few weeks and then we need to ask him.
And like I said, I don't think he knows. I think he and Connor were tasked with a project, right? So you've worked for big companies. Here's a project, go do it. And they're not the only two. I mean, there's people above them and marketing people and whatever else. And they go, okay, we'll execute the product. And they go, okay, cool. What do you, I mean, I think I told you that after our very first conversation when I said, oh, cool, how many are there going to be? And he's like, well, we have to build the buildings first. And I'm like, oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
and as I've said before, there's a lot of gray area between we're not trying to be HYROX and one event a year. Like there's a lot of like, we get you're not going to be HYROX, but you could do something else.
Yes, I have definitely accepted they're not going to be HYROX. Could they have maybe a West Coast venue, a Midwest venue, and an East Coast venue, and hold it twice a year at those venues?
Is it just a branding play for them, like a Red Bull event? Like we kind of don't care how many people. We just want to do a cool thing a couple times. You know what I mean? Because that's most Red Bulls events, right? Looks super cool.
Mm-hmm.
We get some good media out of it. Like that could be how they're looking at it. Which,
yeah, I'd actually be fine with that.
Okay, so here's what I noticed. They did launch, Juan Cho did a post where they have their different kinds of classes. And the one that was for LT games was the one that was their hybrid class called Alpha. Now there's one called XPT, XLT. Sorry, there's a new one.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
If that's the whole point, is to launch that to the members, I don't know. And I don't think they could answer.
Well, Wes, when you have an answer,
let us know.
Tell us you have an answer.
All right, dude. I think we're good for this week. Anything else you got?
No, miss Dave, but yeah, not a lot going on.
Sorry, Dave. We'll talk to you next week. Oh, you know what I'd like to finish with?
Yes.
Based on today's call? Hang on. I pulled this up. All right, this is what I'm gonna end with. You ready?
Yes.
I think you'll know what it is when I start.
Oh, you always say this.
No, you don't have to sing it or say it. I'm gonna say it because it's about today's episode. Okay, here we go. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony, that there is where error, I may bring truth, that where there is doubt, I may bring faith, that where there is despair, I may bring hope, that where are shadows, I may bring light, that where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand, to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds, it is forgiving that one is forgiven. It is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen, Cheryl.
That's beautiful.
You don't know that one?
No.
You don't know the prayer of St. Francis?
I don't. I love it. I love St. Francis.
That's a big one. We were talking about being understood, and I always think of that. When I hear that. So anyway, there's your prayer for the day. All right, say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.